Well, hello YouTube, and welcome to this first non-scripted episode of The Daily Life. As I mentioned last week, today I'm going to be talking about public transit. Now, I realize that some of you, it's conceivable, could be watching this as you are headed into work. It's something that happens fairly common. People use their phones to watch YouTube videos. So if you're on a public transit system right now, a bus, a subway, a train, wherever you happen to be, I do hope you enjoy this show. If you're in a car and you're watching this, I should advise you, pull over, shut your phone off, and put it in the back seat and continue on your way, because it's dangerous to watch YouTube videos while you're driving a car. That's my disclaimer. Okay, public transit. This is something that young people like myself have to contend with every single day. It is not a pleasant experience, as I think that most public transit users will tell you. There are so many things wrong with the way that public transit works. Now let me tell you the first thing that's wrong with the way public transit functions. Schedules. If I need to be somewhere now, I don't have time to stand at a bus stop waiting for 15 minutes for the bus to come. I just don't. That's why I love driving in cars, because there is no schedule. You make the schedule. If I need to leave now to be somewhere in 15 minutes, I can. But on public transit, that's just not possible. You have to stand, and if there's no shelter, then you have to just stand. You know, and it could be raining, like it's been raining for days here where I am in my part of the world. It could be snowing, sleet, hail, thunderstorm. You still got to be out there waiting for the bus. I mean, if you really have to get to that important meeting, or you got to get to your Thanksgiving dinner, whatever it may be, you got to get to the airport on time. I mean, this is how people who don't have cars have to function every day of their life. And it's not fun. So scheduling is it's a bad thing. It's something that people have to contend with. Second thing that personally annoys me about public transit is just the actual physical act of riding public transit. The thing with public transit vehicles most of the time, and I'm sure if you're on public transit watching this now, or you've ever had any experience with public transit, you know that whether it be a bus or a subway or a train, most commuter transit vehicles aren't designed. They have more space than seating space. So you may not get a seat. That can cause major problems if you don't have the balance to be riding standing up. People were not designed to do that. You're not supposed to stand up and be in a moving vehicle. It's not. There's a reason that they don't let school children do it on buses, because it's dangerous, and yet somehow millions of people every day are perfectly able to do it. It causes a lot of problems. For number one, it causes accidents, because if a bus it's got, say, 40 people that are standing up gets into an accident, you can imagine that it's not going to be good. And the other thing is, it's just embarrassing, because sometimes, the bus stops suddenly and people fall over. Now, if you've ever seen that, it's funny, but to be a part of it, it's a bad experience, I think most people would say. So schedules, the physical act of standing up when you're riding, those are two problems. Now, there are some good things to public transit. I will say that there are some good things. And one of the good things is that you don't have to pay attention to what you're doing on your way to work or school or wherever you're going. Because there's a professional driver who takes care of that for you, and you don't have to worry. And I guess that's part of the reason why you're allowed to stand, and the safety regulations for public transit are a lot less stringent than they are for cars, because you are under the care of a professional driver who you assume that he knows what he's doing, or she. I don't want to be sexist. Most bus drivers, from my experience, are he's, so I'm sorry if there's any female bus drivers that are watching if I offended anyone. Anyway, he or she, the bus driver, is supposed to be a professional, and they'll get you to where you're going on time. Now, does this mean that bus drivers will always get you to where you're going on time? Absolutely not, because the city where I'm from, I'm not going to mention it, there are significant problems, which brings me to another problem of public transit, and this is actually just a problem with commuting in general, is that there's gridlock. Gridlock occurs with public transit, and people say, oh, let's invest more money in public transit because it'll help ease gridlock. It does not help ease gridlock that much. If you've ever ridden in a downtown city, let's say you're in downtown, Toronto. Streetcars in downtown Toronto are incredibly congested, and they make things worse for the cars in the street because they use the streets. Same thing in downtown, Los Angeles, or downtown New York, any North American city. You cannot say that they don't cause congestion, and that's a problem for any way that you transport. Cars, same thing. So gridlock's a problem with public transit. And then there are people who just don't know how to ride public transit properly. There is a right way and a wrong way to ride public transit. I will argue all day with anyone who says there isn't. When you're riding public transit, use common courtesy. It's a shared space, okay? I'm there, there's dozens of other people that are there, and if you're riding public transit with, say, your best friend, we really don't care. The guy who's sitting next to you, me, I don't care what you did last night. I just don't. You should stop talking about it right now. It's not making me happy. It's not adding value to my day. It's not going to make me more productive at work that day. It's just not. I don't know how else to say it. I'm sorry. I mean, it's a free society, and it's your prerogative if you want to talk, but you should know that you're pissing a lot of people off. You just are. Even worse than that, though, is people who talk on the phone when they're on the bus or the subway or whatever. Get off your phone, all right? There's a reason why phones, and this is going to be the subject of my rant tomorrow. It's a nice segue. I'm going to be talking about phones tomorrow, and I'm going to focus on cell phones, but let's just finish up. Got another 90 seconds with public transit here. Please put your phones away, or at the very minimum, text or go on the internet. Do something quiet. If it is 7:30 in the morning, I'm tired. I'm trying to get some semi-sleep on the way into work. So please, put your phones away. Anyway, as we near the end of this episode, I'd just like to thank everybody for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this first episode on public transit. I look forward to many, many more days and weeks to come. As I said, every weekday here in the Daily Life, there's going to be a different subject. Today's subject was some of the pitfalls and a couple of the positive things that go along with public transit. As I say, tomorrow I'm going to be talking about phones. Now, phones are something that everybody uses in life. I have a cell phone. I use it every day. Also, anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself. But that's going to be the subject of tomorrow's talk. So I really do hope you've enjoyed this talk. I'm just kind of filling up time now until I get to my 10-minute mark. I'm sure I'll get better with the timing of it as I go along. And so I do hope you've enjoyed this episode of The Daily Life, and we'll see you right back here tomorrow on Tuesday for an episode on phones. Have a great day.